Here comes the little woman selling hot codlins. Hot codlins, hot codlins, hot codlins, hot codlins. Oh, there was a little woman, so I've been told, who was not so very young and not so very old. Now they say this little woman her living got by selling all her codlins hot, hot, hot. Hot codlins, hot codlins, hot codlins.
It may be hard to imagine a Christmas pantomime without a pantomime dame, but the characters of the Widow Twankey and her son were not created until the late 1800s. During the 1840s and 50s, the roots of the pantomime in Commedia del Arte were still overt and on open display. Although they might go by a variety of names, a typical pantomime script featured at its heart the characters of the lovers Columbine and Harlequin. The path of their romance was complicated by old Pantaloon and his friend the clown. Frequently, this bumbling pair was cast as the squabbling fathers of the hero and heroine. The period we are discussing comes immediately after the heyday of Joseph Grimaldi, the greatest of England's clowns. His overall approach to performance still greatly influenced the style of the Victorian pantos. Clowns of that day continued to perform specific bits of comic business made famous by Grimaldi, such as the singing of the Hot Codlins song. The Fairy Queen was another stock character of the Victorian pantomime. Much like Glinda the Good Witch from L. Frank Baum's Wizard of Oz, she tended to appear at intervals to arbitrate from on high and expedite the plot. The Queen was always accompanied by a retinue of elven retainers. As I emphasized in Part 1, the presence of fairies in these productions should not be taken to indicate that these entertainments were aimed at children, or that British audiences were obsessed with folklore and whimsy. The real reason behind the presence of the fairies, as can often be found in all things theatrical, was about getting butts on seats. Fairy costumes provided an opportunity to see pretty young women dressed like this, when normally they dressed like this. In other words, fairies provided the sex appeal of the Victorian Christmas pantomime. There were, therefore, lots of fairies. Lots and lots. Literally, armies of fairies. Great actors and actresses of the days. Individuals such as William Macready, Charles Keene, and Fanny Kemble, as a rule, did not appear in Christmas pantomimes. The pat explanation was that the low comedy of the pantomime was beneath the dignity of the tragedians. A more fulsome answer was probably that the feature roles of the Harlequinade required specialized acrobatic skills these leading actors lacked. Popping up through trapdoors and tumbling through revolves was simply too dangerous physically, and the sharp political satire that was an expected element of a good pantomime script was too risky socially for a performer ambitious to hobnob with the social elite.